Have you ever, just wished you could send a thought to someone else's mind? Just, beam it right in there, without all the talking and stuff?
Yeah, I can definitely see the appeal, especially when you're trying to get someone to really understand something.
Right, like some complex thing. So, in this deep dive, we're going to be looking at brain to brain communication. And guess what? It's not sci fi anymore.
Nope.
Not at all. We've got research articles and all sorts of notes here, and we'll start with a study from way back in 2014. It was published in this journal called PLOS1. And get this, researchers in Barcelona, Spain, figured out how to send a message between the two people's brains. They weren't even in the same room.
Yeah, that was a pretty remarkable one, and no telepathy or anything like that. Just technology and a clever way of using it.
Okay, so how did they actually, get the message from one brain to another? What was the setup?
Well, you have two people. We'll call them the sender and the receiver.
Hmm.
So the sender was hooked up to this, well, imagine like a brainwave reading cap.
Oh, like in the movies.
Kind of, yeah. But in the real world, it's called EEG. Stands for electroencephalography.
So they're basically listening in on the brain, huh? All those electrical signals and stuff.
But they weren't just listening. They were looking for specific patterns, uh, like the ones that happen when you imagine moving your arm or leg.
Mm.
And here's the important part. No surgery or anything invasive.
Interesting. So it's about motor signals then, not like full-on thoughts, right?
Right.
And then what? How does that get to the receiver?
Well, that's where it gets even cooler, I think. These patterns, they get turned into a digital code, like a brain language, super basic. And then, get this, they send it over the internet.
Wait, they're emailing brains?
Kinda, yeah. So the receiver could be miles away.
Wow. Okay, but how does the receiver experience the message?
All right, so on the receiver's end, they use something called TMS,
TMF
transcranial magnetic stimulation.
sounds a bit intense.
It does. A bit sci-fi. But it's safe, and it's actually a pretty well-established technique in neuroscience. What it does is it uses these focused magnetic pulses to stimulate specific areas of the brain. In this study, they focused on the visual cortex.
And what does that do, stimulating the visual cortex?
It can make the person see flashes of light, those are called phosphenes,
Mm-hmm.
and by changing the pattern of the flashes, they could encode simple words, like a visual Morse code.
Really?
Yeah, they were able to send stuff like hola and ciao.
Wow. So the receiver's not hearing words in their head, they're seeing light that represents the word.
Exactly. It's a bit mind-blowing when you think about it.
It really is.
Like, it changes how we think about communication. Usually it's talking, writing, body language.
Yeah.
But this is direct brain to brain, even if it's super basic for now.
It makes you wonder, what's next? Okay, that's wild. Sending words as flashes of light from one brain to another. But come on, hola and ciao. What about real thoughts,
Yeah.
complex ideas? How far can we actually take this?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
The problem is we don't really know how thoughts work in the brain, like the code.
Yeah.
We can see patterns, yeah, but figuring out a whole thought, that's a different story.
It's like we don't even realize how complicated talking is. Or just thinking and expressing yourself.
That's true. We take it for granted.
To get all that into another brain.
Yeah, imagine trying to translate, I don't know, like ancient hieroglyphs or something.
Right.
Not just the words, but the whole culture behind them. That's kind of what we're talking about.
So we need more than just a good brain-computer connection thing. We need to understand how the brain thinks.
Exactly. We got to crack that code.
Yeah.
How do these electrical impulses, chemicals, how do they become our thoughts, our memories, like who we are?
Whoa. Yeah, is there even a limit to what we can send? Brains are all different. Even if we could read the activity perfectly, would it mean the same thing to someone else?
That's a deep one. It gets into consciousness. What does it mean to experience something? Imagine trying to share a memory.
Okay.
You can describe what happened, the people.
Yeah.
But can you really get across how you felt? The exact way things looked, the smells.
You're right. It's there's always something missing when you tell a story, even a good one.
Right. So maybe brain to brain, even if we perfect it, it'll always be an approximation. Like, you can build a bridge between minds. But
Not merge them totally.
maybe not.
Hey, but that's a good thing.
Could be. Like, that's what makes us individuals, right? Our own way of seeing the world.
Totally. Okay, so let's get practical for a sec. Even if we're not beaming full-blown thoughts around, what good could this tech do, right now?
Well, one thing that comes to mind is helping people who can't communicate the usual way.
Oh, right.
Like people who are locked in, ALS, severe stroke. They have thoughts, feelings, but they're trapped.
That's got to be so hard.
It is. So brain to brain could be a way to like reconnect them, let them express themselves, maybe even regain some control.
Gives them a voice, basically.
Exactly. And think about education or collaboration. What if you could share skills or knowledge just like that? Learning a language, playing an instrument.
Like downloading info into your brain.
In a way, yeah. But
Yeah.
learning is more than just data, right? It's about applying it, making those connections.
So we'd still need teachers, mentors, and stuff, even with this tech.
Definitely. Human connection, social learning, that's still crucial. Tech can help, but it shouldn't replace that.
So it's more like tech and humans working together.
Exactly. And as we figure this stuff out, we got to remember it's a tool. We decide how to use it, for good or for bad,
That's true.
ethically, responsibly, all of that. It's up to us.
It's crazy to think how much this could change things, right? But it also makes me think, like on a personal level, would you want to use it if it was real?
Ooh, that's a tough one. It'd be like, seeing into someone's soul almost.
Hmm.
Amazing connection, but also kind of scary.
Yeah, like what even is privacy if you can share thoughts?
Right. How much do you want people to know? It's different now. Thoughts are kind of private.
But with this, there's no hiding.
Exactly. It'd
And
be
it's
a whole
good.
new world of like social rules. Imagine you think something embarrassing and boom, everyone knows.
Oh man, the awkwardness.
Right. We'd have to figure out all new ways to signal stuff like, hey, I'm thinking this, but don't judge me.
Consent would be huge GE too, not just blurting things out all the time. And it makes you wonder about being genuine. If we can share thoughts, does that mean we will? Or would people like fake it?
It's interesting. We already kind of do that, right? With how we act, what we post online.
Mm.
But with thoughts, it's like way more intense.
Yeah, could you trust anyone? And then who are you even if you're always putting on a show, even in your mind?
Deep stuff. It shows how tech can be good or bad. But it's our choice in the end, how it all goes.
We have to be careful, for sure.
Absolutely. Talking about it now is important, so we're ready, for the good and the bad.
Totally agree. This has been like seriously mind-blowing. And honestly, we've only just scratched the surface here, haven't we?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But that's what I love about this stuff. More questions than answers. You just keep thinking about it long after we're done.
Totally. Who knows? Maybe someday we'll be having this chat, but mind to mind, no words needed.
Whoa, now that's an image. Well, thanks for joining me for this deep dive. And to everyone listening, stay curious out there. We'll see you next time for more awesome stuff.